So in driving down here, I've now got a new problem. You come down to fix one problem, classic T4 scenario, it looks like I'm leaking radiator fluid, coolant. Yeah, that's hot. So let's fix that first. Sorry, I got to the bottom of the problem. Okay, I've made a tidier job, trust me. I just hacked this off at the time. So in there, in the hose that goes into the coolant, the radiator and everything, the mechanic has obviously tried to jimmy on the Jubilee clip that went round here, and he's dug in with a screwdriver. I know this because I've done it. I nearly did it myself. I caught and done what was happening. So trimmed it, re-Jubilee clipped it, put the hose back on, and now, well, I can't test it yet. I filled it with water. I need to get some coolant. But that's that done. Right, so back to the job. Oh, the reason I'm here, I'm using the yard that at my work because the weather's crap and it keeps raining and it gets cold and the light drops very quickly, whereas this is a massive garage we use to clean buses and refuel them. And it's Saturday, so there's only one bus out from my local depot. Or maybe two. There's two buses out doing runs and they're all good to go. So I've got the garage to myself this evening. So I'm cracking on with this diesel heater today. I'm not leaving until it's done. Could be late. And at the moment I'm just removing the swivel base plate and we'll crack on with that. So you can, I'll time lapse everything that we're doing, and then if there's anything I need to tell you about, I'll pause it, come back in, and we'll have a chat about it, and then we'll come back out again. So you've seen earlier that the other week, well, it was a couple of weeks ago when I did that bit, I've got the fuel line piped in. I've found a channel, as I've already quickly discussed, probably trying to keep up with this. So that will be my fuel line back in from my pump, my main diesel fuel tank. So I found a little channel. You'll see it too if you've got a T4. There's just a gap, there's a groove, natural groove in the fuel tank, or designed. It's not natural, it's designed. And hopefully I'll be able to channel that back into the diesel heater. So I'm using some Facebook post specs. Some guy did that. Big shout out to him. I'll put his name in the screen because I don't know off the top of my head right now. Anyway, right, I'm waffling. I've got to get this done because I need a cup of tea and it is getting a bit nippy and a bit cold. So I'm going to close these doors soon as well, just in case anybody comes back and needs to fuel a bus. So yeah, hopefully I've brought all my tools. The van is clattered in gear. Anyway, back to the time mob. Okay, where we're at so far then. So I bought some cutters from Amazon. I don't know if you noticed me struggling. Well, you must have done, because I got the saw out. So I got my angle grinder out to cut the same shape, and it seems to have worked. I'm through. Now I've deburred it, which means basically filing around the edges. I'm going to give it a wee top up of paint, which is metal paint. It doesn't need a primer, which is great. And because I left the house without a paintbrush, on my way to the hardware shop to get bolts, I also, well, while in the hardware shop should I say, I also got a paintbrush for a pound. So now I've fed the cable through like an idiot, basically just to see where it was going to come out of. I'll give you a little underside tour later. Basically, you can still see. So here is my fuel sender unit, pump and all that. So the cable goes that way, comes out around the fuel tank, and then underneath the fuel tank, because I want it to come in from the opposite direction of the exhaust, because this gets rusting. All right, this will actually burn your skin when the heat is in full power. So as an extra added layer of protection, I got heat wrap. It's basically just heat-proof cloth, or heat, well, I don't know, just adds an extra level of protection. This will sit across the top of my heat shield. So it's going to sit on top of the heat shield, and then it'll reveal itself underside, aim in that direction, and then I'll just sort of channel her out down the side here. So what I'm going to do, just quickly give this a lick of paint to protect it for the future. Just the last thing you want is a big hole forming under your seat. So I need to wash my hands because I'm all little bits of metal and I can feel it. So just give that a liberal dash in. And the reason I'm going to let this dry, because I'm moving on to the next part of the project, which is assembling the fuel pump and the fuel filter. Now I did order replacement upgraded fuel filters on eBay. They're from a motorcycle fuel pump, because apparently the ones that are supplied with these diesel heaters is pretty shit. So I'm going to have to use it in the interim, but where I'm going to fit the heater, I will be able to easy access the pump and swap out the filter another day, probably next weekend. So just going to let that dry. That's all protected. Go underneath. Go wash my hands because they just feel itchy. This could actually be fiberglass. I don't know. That's probably why they're itchy. Anyway, that's probably what it is. This is probably fiberglass. Stick it in a bag because my hands are antsy as shit. So I'll wash my hairbrush. So I'm going to start assembling the fuel pump, fuel filter, with everything that I've got left. And I tell you, it's starting to get dark outside, because doing that, what do you call it, radiator pipe really did chew up some time. And it doesn't help when it's Saturday afternoon and everything really mechanical or hardware shuts at half day on a Saturday. Madness. And it's not like I can drive anywhere because I'm not near anything either. I'm actually quite hungry. I might take a walk to the shops and get a cup of tea as well while this dries. So anyway, so the next thing you'll see, and I'm going to put you on my head, and we'll crack on putting the pump together. All right. So it more or less needs to, you know, I'll cut the end of this off and build the assembly between the filter and the pump, and then I will have the connectors either side, so that I can pull some of this back through. I'm really surprised how easy it is to channel. I don't know why, it's just time consuming, that's all it is. It's just time consuming, and you need sort of everything around you. Anyway, hopefully you can hear me okay. It's saying, yeah, the microphone seems to be picking up okay. So I'll crack on and see you in a second where we'll start putting the pump together, and we'll do that over there. All right. Got the bag of tricks, plastic ties, Jubilee clips. They're for the vent things. We have clips. That's a rubber sound deadening doofer. And self-tapping attachments, various screws and washers, and loads of little Jubilee clips. Now I did buy an extra set because I heard these aren't great, but so far so good. If they do fail me, I will swap them out. Right, so we have the fuel pump, we have the step changer, and we have a bit of cabling, a bit of fuel line. So I'm going to connect between these two, and then so just trim a little bit of that. And I've used this brush just because it's got a soft back. So what we want then is a length that is conducive to another Jubilee clip. So we say here, there we go. Just pushing that in. Jubilee, 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 Jubilee. That's definitely in there. My fingers are going crazy with fiberglass. I didn't even think. Good job I didn't tear it off with my teeth. And then to the fuel pump. So we would need another bit. Cut here. We need another bit from there, so we cut to here. Jubilee clip first. Now, the fuel will be coming from my tank, and what you want it to do is fill around the cage, not that way. So you want it to fill around the cage. Now, I have bought upgraded ones and they have arrived. Unfortunately, they are 15 miles away. So this is, I'm going to put this on now, and the first sign of trouble, I'm going to swap them out. So this is on probation. Let's get this in. There we go. So far so good. And then the line will feed that into the diesel heater, and that will go to the fuel tank. So we need another bit of this. So that to there, this cut to there.
And that's it all put back together and ready for fitting underneath the van, which we'll get to shortly.
Right, where we're at now. I made this hole slightly bigger because I'm not going to be able to get underneath the van to access this area at all. So one of the problems I'm going to have now is securing these two plates to here. The reason for that is that's the fuel tank right there. That's the fuel tank, and it sits right underneath. I think that's the fuel tank. I'm gonna have to check underneath, but I'm pretty sure that's the fuel tank. If it is, I'm buggered, because I can't drill holes into here, but I can get under here. So I'm going to drill 2 points in there, and then they've got sort of self-tapping screws to go down. At least two sides of it will be sorted. So the next thing, clean that up. The next thing now then is to attach the exhaust and attach the air intake to these. Jubilee clip them, Jubilee clip that. Connect my fuel line. Oh yeah, just while I'm on the subject, I always wondered why this little cutout was here, right? Where it's for a lead to go through to your fuel pump connector, because obviously you have to activate your fuel pump. So that's the fuel pump lead. All right, it is sort of weather protected, so I need to fire that down the hole. But before I do any of this, I need to clear everything. I'm going to attach the pipes. I need to cut out the plastic at my mat for this plate to have a clear space, and then connect the fuel line and take it from there. It's really not that hard, and then basically just got to wire up the electrics. So there's a main line here. It's huge and it's fused, but that's gonna have to cut it off anyway, whatever. So I think there should be a 15 amp fuse in there. Let's have a look, see if they were rich enough to give us a fuse. 20 amp, that's all right. So I've got inline fuses anyway to redo this. Can I undo that? Now, so I'm going to just snip it and put a 20 amp fuse in, because my electric box is right here on purpose, because I just want access to everything here without having to lift up everything. Okay, so it's got an earth somewhere here, so that earth will actually reach my earth, which I've created down there with an M5 bolt into the steel work. So it's a stainless steel M5, which I made a thread for with thread tools. I'll link in the description. So I'm just going to confirm that this is the fuel tank. Pretty sure it is. I'm going to have a look underneath. I'm going to put some gloves on because this shit is itching my hands, something chronic. It's still sore. I've washed them about 10 times. So we'll get all this, clear the mats, go put some gloves on. I'm not touching that until I get my gloves on. And then put the mat back over, cut out the shape, bolt this down. Jobs are going in. Oh, I'm also going to put some heat protection underneath as well. I've got some high heat paste that goes around this mat, this plate, just to give it an extra level of protection. I'm sure it'll be fine, but better safe than sorry. Alright, so I'm just going to crack on. I might stick you back on time lapse now I've explained what I'm going to do, and then you can see me do it. All the connectors on these are idiot proof. They'll only fit certain ways. So you feed your cable through there, run that out underneath to your fuel pump, which I've got assembled, and I'm just going to feed that through, and that'll drop through. I'll be able to access it from underneath the van. The paint's still a bit wet. Alright, so I'll just fire that through, and then I've got, oh no, I can't even do that. Oh, that paint, pish. Right, I can't even do that because I have to cut the mat out. So without further ado, gloves, tools away, tidy up, mat down, slice out, bat down, bolted on, Jubilee clip these things together, feed them through, and then connect the fuel line to pump underneath, which I haven't mounted yet, and we'll crack on. Okay, cool. See you in a minute. Okay, progress update. So I've got that screwed in. I've got the cable fed through. It is snug as shit. I'm hoping it's not going to be an issue that this fucking melts. But it's only 20 odd degrees, so it should be fine. I need to unscrew that, screw that in, connect that in, run a fuse line into here, and put a blade in there, so that should be fine. Do I plug it directly in? I don't know. Well, we'll see what happens, but we're way off that yet, because the next stage is to get all this stuff in there. So what we have is the fuel pump ready to go. The fuel line is in there. I've got to put the exhaust silencer on underneath. Unfortunately, the cable isn't great. In fact, the exhaust pipe isn't long, so I'll just have to do until another day. Maybe get a new one, an extension. I've got some ties ready to go, and I need to put some headgear on because I'm working under the van and I'll get crap in my eyes. Right, so I'm going to take you with me and see what the crack is. Let's see what the wife said first. So we've got the cable fed through as well. As you can see, the fuel is in full. I've got it fully linked. Let's get that out of the way. fuel to the fuel sender, and then the line to the diesel heater. So I just need to snip it, put this in between it, mount that, and then wire in the doofer. Okay, so that needs to go into there, that needs to go into that one, ready to clamp the fuel line into the middle. So it hasn't been too bad. It is time consuming, don't get me wrong. We've got clamps for the exhaust, clamps for the air intake filter to go on, and we've got these are self-tapping by the looks of things. So we're halfway there. We're nearly there. Right, let's do this. So, what can we see here? That's my pipe, that's the exhaust. I'm going to put the silencer on that side. Access really, that's the fuel line coming from the diesel heater. Well, that's going to the diesel heater. Okay, and that's underneath the fuel tank, as I was correct. That goes right, that's my fuel tank there. It's an odd shape, isn't it? Don't know why that is. How do you get the fuel from this side? Maybe it just sloshes around. Alright. I keep losing it here on the top of my head, but you're not secure. Alright, so I've got that way. Air filter, air intake is somewhere here. That's just to stop shite getting sucked in. Doesn't need a Jubilee clip. Can we do this? I'm very limited on where I can actually put this. I could just screw it through there, which I think I'm going to do. So. That's going to act as a Jubilee clip as well. So we just stick that out of the way, upwards. So exhaust fumes going that way, fresh air up there. That'll do.
Needless to say, it didn't do, and what I had to do is take that screw out and replace it with a nut and bolt, which is a locking nut, so it wasn't going to come off. The screw just wasn't keeping the bite, but the nut's working really well instead.
Right, so Jubilee clip. Oh, for fuck's sake, I didn't bring one. Cock. Ah, yeah, that's better. That's better. So we drill into that. Oh, check it out. Put a fucking nut in there. Nice one. What's that pointing at? Oh, the exhaust. Right, so we need to move that out of the way for a second. Screw in that. Drill. Screw. See me. This dropping into my bloody mouth. Yep, don't be fucking hurt. We have the angle. We have the piece. We have the secret. Don't drop on me. Not through that. Not through there. it down a bit, so let's put it under a bit of pressure. Right, so I need to go get a nut and bolt for that, which I have, I think. Okay, so I've got the pump installed. I can't even see because the light's on. I've got the pump installed underneath the van with some channeling and plastic ties and all that goodness, precious me stuff. Okay, that's done. Next thing now is this cable is way too long for what I need, so I'm going to strip it. I've got an inline cable. Oh, for God's sake. I had an inline cable somewhere, I must have put it down. So I'm going to strip this down, put an inline fuse, or I'm tempted just to stick it directly into my bus. I might just do that actually, and then just stick a fuse on there. Yeah, let's do that. Just saves time and effort, and inline fuse. So I'm going to do my earth, so I need to go get an Allen key for that adapter, so I can put the fuse, the earth on into that, 15 amp into that, 20 amp actually, because they've got a 20 amp on there. Now they do draw quite a bit of ampage when they first boot up. I'm hoping mine boots up. That'd be nice. And it's raining outside and I'm still working away because I'm indoors. I swear, I wish I had a garage, but then I wouldn't have a garage that was as big as this to get 20. Right, so let's strip this back, put a circular on it just so it's nice and flush, and crack on. Getting there, man, getting there. Really. Oh, there it is. It's right in front of me. Flipping losing my eyesight. Getting there is all one can say. Right, so I'm gonna go get. I want to get the negative on first. We'll do that. I'll put these back. I don't need this. Have a quick tidy up. It's getting late. I really am starving. Really starving. Okay, we has power, which is good, and we need to prime it first. I need to open the garage doors because it can get a bit smoky, apparently. This not want not, keep that. Right, let's get the instructions for the time. Time settings. Use the up and down key to adjust. Press OK. I'm just giving her a quick first blast. I'm going to try and fix my handbrake while I'm here, because I came off the other day. If I can't do it, I'll just get my mate to do it on Monday. And that's bolted in through the heat shield. See there, man? That's it, smoke more or less away, not touching anything. That's me all working. Oh, dear. It's been a long day. Been a really long day. Oh, kids ringing me. So, it's already warm in here. 16 degrees. I'm going to get this fitted and wired up somewhere, but for now we'll just turn this off. We don't really need it. Finger on it. Off. And then that'll do. You can hear it slowly starting to turn down. So I'm going to tie these cables up. Come on, kids, seriously. So That's not overly hot. You can still touch that, which is a relief. I might actually, no I won't. I was going to say I might drill a hole in there, but no I won't. Get a grip of yourself. Right, so last job, handbrake, and then I'm going to put everything, well, let's put everything away first and get everything tidied up. But yeah, that has been a very successful day indeed, and I am extremely happy with the results. So look, I've never done this before. I'm not, everybody who's walked in today has seen me like, are you a mechanic? My feck, not a clue do I have. But you just got to have a go. I mean, you know what I mean? 86 quid that cost me, or something like that. I'll put a link in the description. I got black. It's gonna put my chair in now, put my seats back in, get all this crap put away, and then go home and get something to feckin' eat. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. If you've got any questions, I'm happy to help. Like I said, I'm not an expert in this. I've just had a bash, and it works. It works, and I'm really happy with it. And you can do it too, really. It's not that hard. It's just a commitment. It's a bit of trial and error. So anyway, till the next episode, where I will be doing, what have I got next? Finishing off these electrics, getting the light. Well, I've got the lights on. I'm going to trim that as well. Get that light in properly, so I've got full control. I'm just finishing off now. That was the big job. That one. That was the major job, and I'm happy I've got it done. Right, I'm waffling. I've got to get home. I'm fucking starving. Love yous. See yous later. Like and subscribe. All that. Comment your comments in the comment section below, and if you hated the video, hit the like button twice, or hit the negative button. Hit the negative button twice. That's the one.